Do you need a college degree to be a successful translator? Coming up in this week's Q&A. Hello and welcome back to the Freelanceverse. Thanks so much for coming back to the channel. Once again, it is time for another Q&A video. It's been 2 months already and you see I'm all dressed up. Last time I was filming it in a heat wave, the last Q&A. Now we are in the middle of fall. I like it though, I like this weather. Anyways, the video from last month or from 2 months ago got quite a lot of questions. So today's questions are all from this video. So if you want to be involved in the one in 2 months, that will be already in December. Crazy. I mean, yeah, kind of beginning of December probably. Make sure to ask your questions down below in this video and I will answer them already and then answer them also in the video next time. Let's get started right away. I'm going to read it off my screen and also show them to you while I read them. The first one is from Tamir, a very active supporter of the channel. Thanks so much, Tamir. Hi Adrian and welcome back. I wanted to ask you about dealing with clients. When dealing with direct clients, what are the things that you shouldn't bring up in the conversation and what are the things that you should focus on in the conversation? Also, what do you think is the best app to use if your client requests a video call with you? So let me address the second part first because that's very easy to answer. It doesn't really matter what apps you use for virtual calls. Nowadays they are all the same. They're all good. You can use Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Google Meet, Skype, whatever. It's all the same. It all works fine. So that shouldn't matter at all. Just send them a link that is publicly available that they can easily log in. Maybe you can ask them what they prefer, and then don't worry about that. When it comes to the first part of the question, that is super interesting because you say in conversation with direct clients, and that's good that you think about this because your conversations with direct clients should definitely be different than your conversations with agencies, right? With agencies, you can talk all about like cat tools, fuzzy matches, context matches, the different forms of matches that you get in a cat tool. You can talk about maybe, a bulk discount or whatever. You can ask them about the different workflows, will your translation be proofread, etc. But all of these technical translation specific things are not to be addressed when you talk to a direct client. Only if they have a specific translation department that deals with these things, that also happens, then fine, you talk to them like a normal agency. But if you are just a service provider that provides them with a localized version, they don't want to know anything about how you do it, right? They just want a good product at the end. So there, make sure you don't, you're really negotiating in a normal business manner. This is your product that you're selling. You're not trying to convince them in a way that you're the best out of many freelancers, like you would maybe do with an agency. There, you rather try to sell yourself as a service provider, that you are the agency basically there. So just make sure you have this switch in mindset that focuses on the end product and not on the process. Question number 2 comes from Crispy Rem. Hi Adrian, it is unrelated, but I wanted to hear your advice about something. I'm a translation student and I will renew my laptop and I will need to upload more programs next year. Which features should I look for? Like, is 8GB RAM enough? And which brand do you recommend? It is not unrelated at all. I mean, the computer is our number one working tool, right? So you need to make sure when you buy a new computer and you're a professional translator, you need to make sure you do the right things. There are a few things to consider. You're talking about RAM. 8GB RAM is fine. Like preferably, I would say 12 or even higher, but 8 is fine. It depends what else you want to do with your laptop. If it's strictly for translation work, then 8 is perfectly fine. Me personally, I really like HP and Lenovo. In the past few years, I've always been switching between these two. For some reason, always the other one has given me the needs that I needed in that specific moment. So at the moment, I have an HP EnvyBook. I'm not sure what exactly it is called. I'm going to put it on screen, all the specifications. For me, it was important that it has an SSD, so a digital hard disk. I really want a number pad on the side, the block number, because especially in translation, for me, it's much easier when I can just use them for numbers. It's much quicker for me. I went for a big storage space. I have 1 terabyte of storage and 512 gigabyte is perfectly fine as well. All things considered, I would go for at least an i5 processor with at least 8 gigabyte RAM, at least 512 gigabyte storage. and preferably not a Mac. I know a lot of people like Macs, I would like them too, but a lot of MemoQ for example, but a lot of CAD tools don't run on Mac, so you would have to like circumvent it with the Office or with the Windows virtual desktop basically, and that's kind of pointless if you buy a Mac and then you put the virtual desktop of Microsoft on it, right? So yeah, if you're really serious about translation, it's unfortunately still the case that I would not go for Mac. Hope that helps, answers your question. Next up we have Samuel B. Hello Adrian, I just started to watch your videos and finally jumped on the freelance translator wagon. I translate from German to French and English. Oh, same languages as me. I was wondering if you have any advice to find a mentor. Hope to read you and look forward to more videos. Greetings from the island of Mauritius. It's unbelievable. In my answer I wrote, no way you're from Mauritius, that's crazy. Must be beautiful there. I would love to visit once. Thanks for the question, Samuel. It's a great idea to find a mentor, especially when you're just starting out. I don't know, you don't mention about studying, but maybe you just finished studying. You jumped on the wagon of freelance translator now. Probst.com has a good mentorship program. Definitely sign up there. You can look for mentees and also for mentors. That's a nice approach because people are already interested there. Or otherwise, you just go on LinkedIn, you look up your language combinations, your specializations, and you write people. You tell them what you find interesting in them, you start conversations, and then you never know, maybe they have something to give you, maybe they are willing to be your mentor, and just, you need to strike up conversations, right? You need to get noticed and you need to notice people in order to build these connections. Samuel then wrote in a follow-up question, in a follow-up comment that he finds my videos really inspiring. It would be great to have me as his mentor. He specializes in legal translation. I then told him that's very nice to hear, thank you, but it only makes sense to have a mentor in your own language pair, right? It doesn't make sense. He translates into French and English. It doesn't make sense for me to be his mentor because I can't provide him any good connections. I can't provide him jobs. So make sure you find someone in your language pair, preferably even in your specialization. Besides the fact I don't really have time to be a mentor at the moment, but I would love to. So if there are any freshly graduated English, French to German translators, please reach out. Maybe we can start something there. Just my time is limited, but I really love this initiative from Samuel. Unfortunately, his language pair doesn't work out with me, but I hope he finds someone. Or I hope you found someone. Hopefully you're watching. Thanks for the question. Question number 4, I think. It's from Kurt Tank. Hello, thank you for the video. Just wanted to ask, what is the average speed of translation? For example, in English to Russian, vice versa pair, or next similar pair. Edit for you and for beginner by your opinion. Okay, as he says, for me and for beginners, it is very subjective. I read people that do like 1500 words an hour, which is insane if you ask me. But it also depends, right? Last night I translated something on Friday, last night was the weekend, I translated a speech of a CEO, a new CEO that just addressed the company. It was a video, and she just said where she grew up, what's her interest, what she wants to do with the company, and it was perfectly everyday language. You could just translate it very quickly. It was, I think, 1,500 words. And I finished the entire job within 1 hour, including the proofreading in the end, right? So it can happen that you're very quickly. It depends a lot on the context and your experience in the field. I would say on average, about 500 words an hour are realistic, if you really take the average of all the texts. But just make sure that you don't calculate 500 for any type of text. It can vary a lot, right? If it's very technical or very marketing heavy, a lot of transcreation involved, it goes down significantly, and maybe you do 50, 100 words an hour. Average 500 is a good rule of thumb. And we have two rather short ones. Key asks, would you recommend studying translation? Yes, definitely. If you can afford it, if you find a school, if you find an online course, whatever, definitely study translation. More and more I'm convinced that it brings you so much, especially as we go into the future where it will be tough to really demonstrate your value and show the people that you are needed as a translator or as a language professional. It will be so important to have an educational background, something to fall onto, an academic background. Sorry, my SD card was full there. Somehow this always happens in the Q&A videos. I don't know why. Anyways, I don't know how much you heard, but definitely if you can get the degree, it will help you a lot in the future. And the last question comes from Barbon. I want to work as a translator from Arabic to English, but I don't have any degrees. Can I work as a freelance translator? Very similar question to before. Yes, you can, but it helps you a lot if you have a degree. So I would definitely recommend to you this to get one. I made a video about degrees a long time ago now. You can click here if you want to. I will update this soon because it is now already like 2.5 years old. And I'm also planning a video a comprehensive video about online courses that I've heard of that I want to look into and give you like a review on them. So that will be very interesting. So definitely stay tuned on the channel. There will be more about degrees, courses, etc. coming soon. You can work as a translator, you definitely. Without experience, without degree, it's all possible. It just makes it that much harder. So if you can afford it, if you have time, the funds to do it, go for a degree. There you go. These are all the questions and answers for this video that I have for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video. The new goal is 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We have time. I hope we can make it. Would be amazing. And I see you next Monday with a very interesting video. Bye bye.